Stop for a second, because if you're over 50, everything you've been told about cancer prevention is usually missing a major piece. Most people only ever hear two things. One, get screened. Two, if something happens, we'll treat it. Both of those matter. Screening saves lives. Treatment saves lives. I'm not arguing with that. But what almost nobody sits down and explains, because appointments are short and the system is busy, is the third part, the everyday food patterns that shape the internal environment where cancer either struggles or thrives. And I'm not talking about exotic supplements or expensive powders. I'm talking about ordinary foods that show up in real scientific literature, foods you can buy at any regular grocery store, that are repeatedly linked with better outcomes in cancer prevention research. Before we go further, this is educational information, not medical advice. Food is not chemotherapy. Food does not cure cancer. If you have symptoms or a diagnosis, your doctor is your first stop. But prevention and risk reduction are real topics, and you deserve to understand them. Now here's what I want you to do while you watch. Think like a strategist, not like someone searching for a miracle. Your goal isn't perfection. Your goal is to stack small advantages for years, because cancer is often a long game, and the body responds to what you do repeatedly. Also, leave a comment with your age range, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80 plus, and tell me if cancer has touched your family. Not for drama, because it matters. It shapes the urgency people feel, and it reminds everyone watching that they're not alone. All right, I'm going to count down 5 foods, ranked from highly useful to this one changes the way you cook. And yes, item number 2 comes with a preparation mistake that cancels out a huge portion of what makes it special. Most people do it wrong without realizing it. Let's begin. Number 5, black beans. Black beans are not trendy. They don't come with a marketing campaign. They're not luxury health. They're quiet, cheap, and powerful. What makes black beans interesting in cancer prevention research isn't some magical bean cure. It's the combination of fiber, including resistant starch, polyphenols, the dark pigments, and the way they feed the gut microbiome. Here's why gut health keeps appearing in cancer discussions. Your digestive tract isn't just a food tube, it's an immune organ. A large portion of your immune activity is connected to the gut. And chronic low-grade inflammation in the gut has been linked in research to higher risk pathways, especially for colon-related diseases. Black beans support the production of short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, when your gut bacteria ferment the fiber. Butyrate has been studied for its role in supporting colon cell health and regulating inflammation signals. That matters more after 50 because many people experience lower microbiome diversity, more constipation or slower motility, more processed foods, more medications, and less fiber overall. When the gut ecosystem is weak, inflammatory signaling tends to rise, and long-term inflammation is one of the common fertilizer conditions discussed in cancer biology. How to use black beans without turning them into a blood sugar spike. Aim for about 1-2 cup, 3-4 times per week. Combine with vegetables and healthy fat, not just white rice and sugar sauces. Dried versus canned. Dried beans are excellent, but not everyone has the time. If you use canned, rinse them thoroughly to reduce sodium and improve digestion for many people. The simple absorption and use this in real life tip. Cook or heat beans with olive oil, garlic and onions, cumin, paprika, black pepper, and add a squeeze of lemon at the end. And here's the most important part. Don't treat beans like a side decoration. Let them be a real foundation. Soups, chili, bean salads, burrito bowls, stews, easy, cheap, repeatable. Number 4, walnuts. Walnuts are one of the most underrated brain plus inflammation plus cellular defense foods in most people's diets. They're not just fat, they're not just calories, they're a package. Healthy fats, antioxidant compounds, and micronutrients that show up in anti-inflammatory dietary patterns again and again. In prevention research, one of the recurring themes is that chronic inflammation and oxidative stress create conditions where cellular damage accumulates over time. Walnuts are interesting because they support anti-inflammatory signaling through plant-based omega-3 fats, ALA, and provide antioxidant polyphenols. Do walnuts prevent cancer on their own? No. But are walnut-forward diets often associated with better metabolic and inflammation markers? Yes. The practical way walnuts help real people is simple. They replace processed snacks. If you replace chips, cookies, or sweetened cereal bars with walnuts, you're not just adding walnuts. You're removing ultra-processed calories that raise inflammation and blood sugar volatility. How much? A small handful most days is enough. Roughly 1 to 2 ounces depending on your calorie needs. The preparation rule: choose raw or lightly roasted and avoid sugar-coated candied versions. The goal is the natural fats and polyphenols, not dessert. A pairing that works: walnuts plus a small piece of dark chocolate, 70% plus cocoa, is a reasonable treat pairing for people who tolerate it. Cocoa polyphenols are studied for vascular effects, but keep the portion small. This is not a health excuse to eat half a chocolate bar. If you're on blood thinners, have kidney issues, or have specific dietary restrictions, this is one to check with your doctor because nuts can interact with calorie balance and some medical diets. For most people, though, walnuts are a daily upgrade. Number 3, pumpkin, and especially pumpkin seeds. People think of pumpkin as a seasonal flavor, but pumpkin, and more importantly pumpkin seeds, show up in research conversations for 2 main reasons. Carotenoids in orange vegetables associated with antioxidant activity, mineral density, and immune support in seeds, especially zinc. Let's talk about zinc for a second because it's not glamorous, but it's real. Zinc is crucial for normal immune function, and immune surveillance is part of how the body identifies abnormal cells early. As we age, immune function changes, often referred to as immunosenescence in research, meaning the immune response can become slower and less coordinated. Pumpkin seeds are one of the easiest ways to increase dietary zinc without jumping straight to supplements. What to do? 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds most days, or several times per week, is a realistic target. Add them to oatmeal, salads, soups, or just snack on them. How to prepare? Light roasting is fine, but high heat can degrade some nutrients. If you roast, do it gently, or buy unsalted, lightly roasted seeds. The simple synergy tip: pair pumpkin seeds with vitamin C-rich foods, lemon, bell pepper, berries, to support mineral absorption and overall antioxidant balance. Also, pumpkin itself is easy to add. Pumpkin puree in soups, roasted pumpkin cubes, pumpkin in stews with beans and greens. Again, don't wait for Thanksgiving. Your body doesn't work seasonally. Now we're at number 2, and this is the one where most people accidentally destroy the very thing they're trying to get. Number 2, broccoli and the cruciferous family. Broccoli is not famous because it's healthy. It's famous because it contains precursors to compounds that have been studied extensively in cellular defense pathways. One of the most talked about is sulforaphane, which is linked in research to activation of NRF2, a pathway often described as a master switch for cellular protective responses. When that system is upregulated, the body increases its ability to neutralize oxidative stress and support detoxification pathways. Now here's the issue. Many people cook broccoli in a way that reduces the enzyme activity needed to form those compounds effectively. They boil it hard. They steam it forever. They microwave it until it's mush. Then they feel proud. And they may still get nutritional benefit, fiber, vitamins, minerals, but they get much less of the specific compound pathway they were aiming for. So what's the correct approach? The best simple method isn't complicated. It just requires patience. Chop or crush your broccoli first. Let it sit before cooking. Then cook lightly. Why the waiting? Because chopping activates an enzyme reaction that helps form the compounds people are trying to get. Once that reaction has had time to occur, gentle cooking won't erase the benefit the same way. If you can't wait, a practical workaround many people use is adding a little mustard, radish, or arugula alongside cooked cruciferous vegetables, because these foods can contain enzymes that support similar reactions. You're essentially rebuilding what overcooking destroyed. How much? You don't need broccoli every day. A realistic target is several servings per week. Rotate the cruciferous family: broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, kale, arugula, bok choy. If you've ever had thyroid issues, are prone to digestive sensitivity, or take certain medications, Talk to your doctor about how much cruciferous vegetables make sense for you. For most people, this family is one of the strongest diet upgrades available. Now, number 1, the food that is so common, so affordable, so culturally normal, that people underestimate it completely. And it's one of the most consistent patterns in cancer prevention literature. Number 1, cooked tomatoes, lycopene. Tomatoes are unique because the most studied compound, lycopene, becomes more bioavailable when tomatoes are cooked and combined with fat. This matters because many people focus on fresh is best. With tomatoes, the story is different. Cooked tomato products often make lycopene easier for the body to absorb. Lycopene is a carotenoid. It's been studied heavily in relation to prostate health and shows up in broader discussions around oxidative stress and cellular damage. Again, this is not a guarantee, but diet patterns higher in lycopene-rich foods are often associated with better markers in population studies. Here's the rule that changes everything. If you eat cooked tomatoes without fat, you absorb far less lycopene. Lycopene is fat-soluble. That means your body needs dietary fat to take it up effectively. Tomato sauce with olive oil isn't just delicious, it's biologically smart. This is why traditional cooking patterns, tomatoes simmered with olive oil, garlic, herbs, are not just cultural habits. They create a better absorption environment. Best sources: tomato sauce, marinara, tomato paste, canned tomatoes, slow-cooked stews, soups that use cooked tomato base. How often? 4 or 5 servings per week is a reasonable target if you're aiming for consistency. Simple serving examples: half cup of tomato sauce on vegetables or whole grains, tomato-based soup with beans, eggs cooked in a tomato sauce base, chili made with tomatoes, plus beans, plus vegetables. The synergy tip that matters most: always include healthy fat, olive oil, avocado, or even a small portion of cheese if you tolerate dairy. Olive oil is the classic pairing because it's stable, widely used, and part of heart-healthy dietary patterns. Now take a breath, because I don't want you walking away thinking you need to overhaul your life overnight. You don't. Here's the simplest way to actually use this list. Instead of trying to add 5 new foods at once, build a weekly structure. Week plan, simple and realistic. 3-4 times a week, black beans, 1-2 cup portions. Most days, small handful of walnuts. Most days, or at least 4 ounce week, pumpkin seeds, 1 ounce. 3-4 times a week, cruciferous vegetables prepared gently. 4 to 5 times a week, cooked tomato products with olive oil. Now the most important truth, the one nobody likes because it's not exciting. These foods don't work like drugs. They work like conditions. Cancer prevention isn't one ingredient. It's the internal environment you build. Lower chronic inflammation, steadier blood sugar and insulin signaling, better gut microbiome diversity, better antioxidant defense, better immune function over time. And the reason it matters after 50 is because aging shifts the body's baseline. Recovery is slower. Inflammation rises more easily. Sleep disruptions compound stress. Many people become less active. It's not anyone's fault. It's reality, which means the small habits matter more, not less. Let me also say this clearly. If you're watching and you feel like your window has closed, if you're 65, 70, 78, and you think the damage is done, that thought is understandable, but it's not supported by what we know about biology. The body responds to input at every age. Maybe not with the speed of 25, but with real change. If you want to start tonight, here's the 1-week challenge. Pick 1 item from the top 2. Broccoli, prepared correctly, or cooked tomatoes with olive oil. Add it 4 times this week. Don't change anything else. Then notice digestion, energy, inflammation symptoms, sleep quality, cravings. Then add the next item next week. That's how real change sticks. Gradual stacking, not a burst of perfection. Before I close, I want to give you the preparation mistake that ruins this entire list for most people. People add healthy foods on top of an ultra-processed foundation and expect miracles. If you eat beans and walnuts but your daily pattern is still sugary drinks, processed meat, fried snacks, and constant refined carbs, you're swimming upstream. So while you add these foods, also try removing one thing: processed meat 3 days a week, sugary snacks after dinner, soda or sweetened drinks, deep fried foods multiple times a week. You don't need to become a monk. You just need to stop fighting yourself. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 5 foods are you adding first? Beans, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, broccoli, or cooked tomatoes? And which preparation change hit you the hardest? Broccoli timing or tomato plus olive oil?